In this video, I'm going to share with you the framework that I have developed in order to find meaning and purpose in your business beyond chasing money. This is for Christian entrepreneurs who have a high-ticket service-based offer, which could be you offer a service, you have a coaching program, you are a consultant. You can be doing group coaching, you can be doing one-on-one coaching, service-based offer. And you have an established business, you have already achieved some level of financial security in your life and in your business, and money is no longer the biggest priority, and you may now be feeling that there's something more to what you're doing. You want to make a bigger impact through your business. Maybe you feel a disconnect between who you are as a person, who you are as a Christian, what you want to do in your life for kingdom impact, and the way that your business is operating, especially in a secular transactional marketplace. If that describes you, this is a framework that I have developed by going through my own transformation of what I described in order to find meaning and purpose in everything that I do. So, hi. Long introduction, but hey, hi, I'm Sam. I'm the co-founder of Kingdom Impact Lab with my wife, and we ultimately want to show people how you can pursue Christ-likeness in every area of your life, from business, work, finances, relationships, family, parenting, marriage, health and fitness, your community, because I truly believe that the way to give meaning and purpose to your life in everything that you do is the pursuit of Christ-likeness. So if any of this resonates with you, feel free to check out the other videos. If you are a mother, definitely check out Tattoo's videos, where she is sharing and documenting her journey as a mother. All of the challenges that we have with a 3-year-old and a 5-month baby while we are trying to homeschool. So check that out too. Okay. So let's dive in. I'm not going to tell you the story of how I went from searching for meaning and purpose to developing the framework. I explained that in a lot of depth in the previous video, which was Sam's search for meaning. The short version is that I had a financial target that I wanted to hit as a freelancer and later in my business for about 7 years. One day I hit it, and then I'd got some level of financial security, and so that's when I started to search for meaning and purpose and what's the point in what I'm doing. I could not find it in my former business, which focused on making as much money as possible, which didn't work, in order for freedom and lifestyle, which was my reason for doing things, and I just couldn't find it. The reason which I experienced this is because the marketplace and business world is secular. It's based entirely on transactions. Everything is dominated by money, KPIs, hitting targets, sales targets, percentages, profit and losses, and all of these things, which intrinsically makes every interaction focused on money. It takes the humanness out of all of the interactions that we do. I became a Christian. I rooted everything I did in the pursuit of becoming Christ-like, and that's what led me to finding a lot of meaning and purpose in what I do. And so that's the short version. If you want the long version, check out Sam's search for meaning in the other video. This video here, I just want to talk about the essence of the framework that I have developed. There are 5 parts to it, and the mechanism which is how it works. So let me first explain the mechanism of how this framework actually works. So the mechanism is the pursuit of Christ-likeness in everything that you do, in all areas of your life. What I'm going to be doing in my framework, which worked for me, is I want to show Christian entrepreneurs with high ticket offers how you can have meaning and purpose in everything you do for Kingdom Impact by the pursuit of Christ-likeness in what you do through business. What does it mean to pursue Christ-likeness? It means to pursue extravagant love in everything that you do, which is you set your aim or make your prayer for the day to be the biggest blessing to as many people as possible through your business, everyone you interact with, down from the social media posts that you have to working with your highest paying clients. Everything that you do, act out of extravagant love to be the biggest blessing that you can be to as many people as possible. It's the pursuit of excellence in your ability, your character and your integrity. You want to be the best that you can possibly be. You want to become the person that you need to become in order to deliver the best service that you possibly can, to help people get the biggest result that they possibly can. You need to operate with a mentality of humble service. How can you humbly serve everyone that you interact with? Everyone that comes to your business is an opportunity for you to serve someone. So, if you have a service, a high ticket service, by the very definition of what you're doing, you're in the help industry. You're here to help others get a result. So if you want to help people, help them. Always have an attitude of humility though, because when pride takes over, that's when things start to go downhill. And then it's also to have an attitude of integrity. You need complete integrity in every decision that you make in your business in order to stay aligned with, in order to make sure you're aligned between who you are in your heart, who you are as a human, who you are as an individual made in the image of God, and what you're doing through your business. So that is essentially what the framework is. The reason behind the framework is because humans find meaning and fulfillment. One way that we do is is by helping others. Through service to others is where we find meaning. Also, another way is we want to make meaningful progression towards a meaningful goal. What do I mean by that? It means that humans, or at least some people, me in particular, we find our own joy in the progression towards a goal, and that's where we find the excitement and the enjoyment. When we achieve the goal, we have the dopamine release, we have the sense of accomplishment, but within 2 weeks we kind of, what's next? If you're chasing money, you hit your financial goal, and then you're chasing what's next. Making more money when you're already financially secure. Making an extra 2% in the next quarter in profits is not intrinsically a meaningful goal to aim for. And so that's when you start to lose motivation, and that's when you start to question things. However, if you pursue Christ-likeness in what you do, pursuing Christ-likeness is the biggest responsibility that you can have. And of course, your definition of Christ-likeness may be different to mine, which is perfectly fine. I do not claim to be an expert in theology or anything. This is just my own understanding of where I currently am. And so the pursuit of Christ-likeness for me, it gives ultimate meaning to everything because it's the ultimate responsibility that I have. And all of a sudden, everything I do has meaning and purpose. The analogy I like to use is what Jordan Peterson teaches, and that is that you pick up your cross, the biggest thing that you can carry, and then you carry it up a mountain. So you take on the biggest responsibility that you possibly can, the pursuit of Christ-likeness for maximum kingdom impact, and you climb up the mountain with it. Now, imagine if you climb up a mountain, you reach the top, and then you realise that you're on the wrong mountain. You then have to go all the way back down, go back the way you come before you can go up the other mountain. Well, this is kind of common for people when one day they wake up and realise that they've been pursuing the wrong goal, that they've spent the last 20 years chasing someone else's targets so they can hit their financial targets and achieve their dreams, but intrinsically what you do have no value, and that often leads to breakdowns or midlife crises or career changes and closing your business and doing something else, and these kind of things. You've been pursuing the wrong goal, and then you realise it, and then you look back and then you're afraid that you've wasted your life. Or you can climb up the right mountain, and every time you get to what you think is the peak, you feel that sense of accomplishment because you've got there, and then you look and then there's another peak in the distance for you to climb, which is an even bigger goal, an even bigger goal, an even bigger goal, and then this is just infinite. And this is your meaningful progression to the ultimate goal of your life until you take your last breath. So everything you do will have meaning, and you will not be afraid of wasting your life because you're climbing the right mountain. So how do you do that? Well, you have to anchor yourself in Christ. And the way to do that would be that, basically this is the framework that I've gone through and developed. And just quickly for context, that for me, after I closed my marketing agency, when I knew it wasn't working, I spent a long time, probably 1,000 hours in total, learning, trying to figure things out, creating my own framework, journaling, creating questions, answering them, developing things until I actually figured it out of what worked for me, which is what I'm basing my framework on. And so this is a 5-step process, or maybe it'll be more than 5 steps, maybe it'll be less in the future, about how this actually works to get more meaning and purpose in what you do. And this is so you can start to do things today by acting out Christ-like behaviour on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis, which is what gives me meaning and purpose. So the first thing to do would be the first thing that you'd have to do is you have to know who you are as a person. You have to know what it means to be a Christian. You have to know what it means to anchor your identity in Christ. And the reason why you need to do this is because if you don't, you are anchoring yourself in something that changes and moves moment to moment, week to week, month to month, year to year. When you anchor yourself in Christ, you are anchoring yourself in something that is eternal. It doesn't change. It is there. It stays there. It's your solid foundation. You anchor yourself in a solid foundation that doesn't change, drift, or move around. And that is essential so you can remain aligned. You know where the top of your mountain is, even if it's abstract, intangible, something you know you can't reach. At least you're anchored and you know the direction you're heading. Without it, you're going to be moving here and here and here and here. My problem with freedom with marketing, my former agency, is that when something didn't work after 2 weeks, I'd decide I'm changing my target audience and then change this and change that, because I'm basing my moment-to-moment emotions and whims as my only compass, and then that basically changes all the time. So of course I cannot make meaningful progression towards a goal if I'm always changing what the goal is and changing the goalposts. Knowing your identity and anchoring it in the solid foundation that never changes is how you have complete alignment from where you are to where you want to go. That's the first. The second thing is you need to clarify what your vision is. You have to identify what it is that you want to achieve, and then you have to anchor this in what it means to be Christ-like. All of this is highly subjective and based on what your current business is and what you're currently doing. I can help you journal and go through and discuss these answers, and then help you uncover what this is. The next thing that you need to do is you need to have clarity on what your unique gifts are as a human. Your unique gifts would be a combination of the things that you're actually good at, the things that you're passionate about, and the things that you're passionate about tend to be the things that you would do all day, every day without getting paid, because you just find so much pleasure and joy in doing them, which is often what you invest at as well. So it's really honing down on what this is specifically, and then finding out how you can then steward this gift to impact as many people as possible within your business and within your sphere of influence. Your gift as well is also, which is something that I've had to go through myself to discover, is you have to have some kind of a transformation yourself. And typically the transformation would be that you struggled through something, you suffered through something, and you got through the other end with some kind of a solution. And what you experienced yourself, the suffering that you went through in the past, and then you came out the other side, is also a gift, it's also a blessing, because you can help other people that are currently going through this pain and this problem. It allows you to empathise with them. You've been there, you know what they're going through. You can show genuine compassion rather than artificial compassion and empathy, where it's let's find out what the pains are and then let's get AI to try to make an emotional connection with the person, which is genuine because you haven't been through it. You can provide practical solutions and wisdom and insights because you've been there, you know what it's like, you know what they've gone through. You can actually give people information and help them on things that AI cannot. And so, just an example of what that is from my own personal experience. I had a high ticket offer, I hit my financial target, and then I went through a period of trying to search for meaning and purpose in my life, couldn't find it. The business that I had before, the business model itself wasn't necessarily wrong. What I was doing to try to make the business work wasn't necessarily wrong, it just didn't work for me. The reason, because there was a misalignment between who I was as a person and what I was trying to do in the business, and that misalignment is what made things fall apart. There was no passion for it in the end, there was no interest, I didn't want to do it, burnout, all of the negative emotions, the stress, the meltdowns I had, the pain I had to myself and my family and all of the other things as well. All because there was a mismatch between who I was as a person here and what I wanted to do. I found the solution by becoming a Christian and then understanding the Christian doctrine and applying that to the business, which is why I set up Kingdom Impact Lab. And then if you're in that similar situation, I've been through it myself. I know how painful it can be. I know the stress. I know the sleepless nights because I've been through that. So I can empathise, I can show compassion with anyone that might experience this. I know what it's like to measure your self-worth on external metrics and things, and I know what it's like to internally, you're comparing yourself to other people all the time. You might not, you don't admit it to anyone, but deep down you know you are. You want to have expensive things so people think you're successful, but inside you're not really, you feel lost and empty. Well, I've been through it and it was really bad at the time. And so I've been through it, which in hindsight, that experience I went through is a massive, massive gift, because I can help other people that are going through a similar situation. So you have to identify your gifts and your calling. Your calling is going to be, the calling first is to follow Christ, and the second thing is it's going to be what you can uniquely do to impact people for Kingdom Impact. And so all of this we can help align. And then the next thing to do is to align your business with biblical principles. And that is the pursuit of Christ-likeness in what you do in the day-to-day decisions. And this is where it gets kind of exciting, because you've anchored your identity in Christ. That is your solid foundation. That is where you're heading. You know crystal clear clarity. You don't have to worry about your business. You know where you're going. As Rick Warren in a sermon I've recently listened to said, that with God there is no plan B, it's always plan A, and everything you go through is part of the big picture plan. Well, when you anchor your identity in Christ, you know your destination is up there, you know you're climbing the right mountain, you don't know how long it will take to get there, you might not be able to articulate the final destination, but you know everything you do on a day-to-day basis is heading in the right direction, so you don't have to worry about waking up one day feeling like you've wasted your life and you haven't done this and you haven't done that and you could have done that and you should have done that. You know, you've got that deep sense of peace that's where you're heading, that what you do has meaning. You've got clarity on what your vision is as well, so you combine these two. You've got the roadmap of where you're kind of heading. You've got a blueprint of, not blueprint, sorry, you've got the roadmap of the direction of where you're heading, and then you anchor yourself in the present moment to what that is. We've got clarity on what your gifts and your calling are, so now we can help you steward that. So you're using your God-given gifts in the best way possible to help people in the way that only you can uniquely help them. This is how you have the kingdom impact. And so now the next thing is how to take action and implement this, which is the pursuit of Christ-likeness, which is the pursuit of excellence, extravagant love, and how you can be a blessing to everyone in everything you do. You have to operate with integrity. You can only operate with integrity if you anchor your identity in Christ. So you know what's consistent and inconsistent, and you can have integrity. You have to operate on as a way of humble service to others, and then what you do is you proactively pursue Christ-likeness in your day-to-day decisions. You won't see much progress to start off with, but over time you will start to gain that momentum. Over time, you will start to the things that you do on a day-to-day basis will become automatic, and you will start to have that impact. It's super important that you do this proactively. You can set your KPIs and your targets in your business in order to measure how you pursue Christ-likeness. That would be a good KPI to have, which aligns with kingdom impact. Why? Because if you don't, the marketplace, the business world is secular, it's transactional, and the spirit of the marketplace, the spirit of the business world is transactional, focused entirely on money. Therefore, if you don't proactively pursue Christ-likeness, you will, on a subconscious level, be influenced by the spirit of the transactional marketplace, which will influence your decisions without you even realizing it. It will influence your micro decisions, which align with the transactional thinking of the marketplace, which then pull you away from your mission. This is why you need to proactively do this on a day-to-day basis. And so that's the next step of how to do it in terms of a mechanism, what you need to do. You need to identify what it means to you in order to pursue Christ-likeness in your day-to-day decisions. And then you as the leader of your company can communicate that with your team, and that's how you can behave and move forward. Even if you work for some people you work with are not Christians, you can still model this behavior and tell that, okay, every piece of content I want, we need to focus content creation from a single Instagram post all the way up to everything we do, every interaction with people is how can we be a blessing to them today. And just having that mindset there, the value of what you do will be exponentially more. Just simply by looking through that lens, looking through the lens of treating each person that you interact with, from the one person that interacts with a social media post up to your highest paying client, as they're human, created in the image of God. How can we serve them? It will transform the way that you do things. And so that's the mechanism. And so the next kind of step in this process is the application and the implementation of this, which is okay. So you need to cast your vision rooted in your identity in becoming Christ-likeness, but then you need to take that intangible vision down to the day-to-day actions, which is the pursuit of Christ-likeness, which I've just described. But you also then need to fit this into a tangible framework where you can actually pursue your business goals. You can actually pursue growth. You can then set your daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual goals, and then you basically, by doing this, you're rooting your goals in your vision anchored in Christ. We've given you a sort of a day-to-day things that you need to pursue, and it's then basically I can just help you align everything so you can take action on it. And by doing that, your business will be transformed from whatever it is that you're doing in order to steward the resource and the asset that you have as your business for the biggest kingdom impact. You don't have to go out there and be entirely sharing your faith, quoting the Bible, and only working with Christians. The way to do it is, what you have to do is, by you acting in a way that's Christ-like, and by you having your business philosophy aligned with the pursuit of Christ-likeness, what you're essentially doing is you will become a magnet to others. People will start to notice that there's something different about you and your business. You're going to become the lights, and that's how you attract people to you. But it's up to you if you want to share the gospel with them, or have a more proactive way of having faith in your business. That is not for me to say whether you want to do that or not. For me, what I can help is I can help you implement the framework that I've just described, so you will find meaning and purpose in everything you do, and in your business, while stewarding your unique gifts for the maximum kingdom impact that you can. The rest is a decision that it's a conversation between you and God to make of how you do it. So that's basically what the framework is, how it works, why it works, and so if anyone would be interested in learning more, I will be setting up a founders version of this program soon. Hopefully sooner than late, rather than later, depending on things. But first, I'm trying to conduct some research to try to find how real this problem actually is. And so, if you resonate with anything that I've mentioned here, I would love to have a chat with you, not to sell you the program, but to ask you a few questions to see if you actually experience any of the pains or problems that I have, and if you think that this would be a viable solution. And if you don't want to have a call, I have put together a survey, and I'm trying to get a few people to answer that. Well, a few people, ideally 100 to 150 people if possible, to get some meaningful data, and then it will help me to develop this framework so I can actually help people. Okay, that's all. See you next time.